He sniffed it and, smelling raspberries, took a lick. Nougat, he thought. What a virtuoso. At that point, from the passageways past the blockaded entryway, he heard a horrendous sound. Oompa loompa doompity doo. I have another riddle for you. Oompa loompa doompity dee. What will it take for us to be free? Cried the slave-armed force as they moved toward the chief's office inside the overbearing, abusive chocolate factory. With a melody in their souls, opportunity in their spirits, and honed caramel blending paddles in their grasp, it was the ideal opportunity for the Oompa Loompas to eliminate the last obstruction that lay before their way to liberation. Extract from Roald Dahl's original novel Charlie and the Chocolate Industrial Facility 3, Charlie's dead, presently it's your turn. Sooner or later, in case you're given the keys to this spot, they'll want you. Or on the other hand, in case you're a crazed sociopath with enough capability to authorize your standard over these grievous orange-confronted mythical beings, at that point what do you get toward the finish, all things considered, a condemned chocolate factory? This place sucks. 1. You're 106.7 centimeters tall, 3 feet 6 inches. Everybody you know is around a similar stature. You are important for an agrarian culture that loathes experience and despises brutality. Your territory is a rustic nirvana that is crammed with regular resources. Your neighbors. Pony-riding fighters twofold your tallness who simply crushed an insidious mythical being with a supernatural ring. You almost became oppressed by a previously crushed wizard whose forces were enormously exhausted. By what method will your kin confront an undeniably amazing realm with no prompt dangers and a need to extend for resources? Yeah, hobbits are toast. Except if you can dare to dream for an inundation of similarly invested little individuals from a likewise severe circumstance to look for asylum in the Shire. At that point you'll gather as one and send representatives to Rohan and Gondor to sign a peace settlement while preparing your developing populace for some sort of treachery-based, kilter-kilter, guerrilla methodology for the possible invasion. Is this going to be the introduction of a Hobbit-Oompa Loompa alliance? Are these two universes going to join? We sure expectation not. 2. J. R. Tolkien's admired adaptation of the home districts of Britain meant a high dream setting. The District of Midsummer from the long-running ITV show Midsummer Murders does a comparable thing by putting this anecdotal, romanticized zone in an unquestionably more worldly setting. The place is almost wonderful with its pretty little towns loaded up with delightful flower shows, curious cabins, bikes, and tweed-clad, cordial local people with their 4x4 vehicles that never surpass 48 kilometers for each hour 30 miles per hour. Be that as it may, the province holds a dull mystery. The homicide rate gives the Mexican medication capitals of Tijuana and Juarez a run for their money. 3, with at any rate 369 killings, 87 endeavored murders, and a large group of different passings, for example, getting away from executioners, falling into quarries, suicides. You know, ordinary field stuff. This province may not be the best spot to settle down. It is not exactly a 2-hour drive to London, however. 7. Metropolis. A wrongdoing-ridden town, nearby to Gotham City, helpless before an almighty outsider. Photograph credit, Alex Ross DC Funnies. You're being robbed by a gathering of losers. They're going to snatch the antique pocket watch your dead dad gave you. At that point blast, the sound wall is broken above you. Dropping from the mists, Superman dives down to spare the day. If you will, envision now the hundreds additional cases where Superman is generally involved, state battling General Zod. Where's your saint now? 4. Put aside the way that Superman isn't omniscient, doesn't have divine judgment, and may get forced into an existence of utilitarian propelled tyranny by alluring wrongdoers and execute 99% of humankind. In the event that you live in city, you live right nearby to Gotham City, the most noticeably terrible city in the world. The crime percentages are continually going to be high, particularly when improvement hits East Gotham and all the costumed supervillains gather as one to lease a 2-room brownstone over the waterway in city. The Corridor of Valhalla. The most terrifying cat and mouse game. Photograph credit, Viking Store. Com. Let us think about that existence in the wake of death. The divine beings, and the entire universe are actually as the